The trade deadline's picking up for the Minnesota Wild as Bill Guerin makes a trade to land 6'5" forward Justin Brazeau from the Boston Bruins in a surprising move as the Wild are giving up on Marat, Khusnutdinov, and Jakub, Lauko, a fan favorite, as he goes back to Boston. We got to break down the surprising move, the reason the Wild did it, and the implications on the roster and the team moving forward. A bunch of that coming up on this episode. You won't want to miss it. But guys, a quick reminder to hit the free subscribe button down below. If you want to stay up to date on your favorite team, this is the spot to be. Mark, we're just not going to waste any more time. Got to get straight into this video. Frank Saravalli tweeted it out. Sources say the Minnesota Wild are acquiring Justin Brazeau from the Bruins in a deal involving Marat, Khusnutdinov, and Jakub, Lauko. Now, this was first reported, Dave Pagnotta, there was a lot of people tweeting about it, and Michael Russo has confirmed that both Lauko and Khusnutdinov are heading to the Bruins. They were the two Wild forwards in today's analysis predicted to be goners. The Wild were worried about Lauko's injuries. Brazeau's 27 years old, he's 6'5", he's a right winger. Mark, I'm gonna be honest, my first response when I heard this was, what? Because first off, the only thing that was leaked at first was that it was Khusnutdinov and Lauko heading to Boston with no other context from Kevin Weeks. And it's just that caught me off guard. But to see that the return is Brazeau, he is interesting, but he's a career minors guy who's having a career year this year at the age of 27. What were your thoughts when you first saw this trade break?
I mean, the biggest thing is we see with Lauko, yes, the injuries are a concern. Marat did get demoted, which we will talk on shortly. But the biggest thing is bringing in a big body, 6'5". It is hard to play against, obviously, bigger players. You add more size to the bottom six of this team. It's just a little surprising to see the Minnesota Wild move on from younger players or youngish players to bring in someone that isn't really even a veteran around the NHL. I mean, listen, Brazeau could come in and be a 20-goal scorer on this Wild team. He has 10 goals with the Bruins, but I guess Bill's really looking at this Wild team and saying, hey, we have a lot of prospects. We have, what was it, the second best prospect pool in the NHL from the article that we broke down a while ago. But looking at this, I don't know, Josh, it's a bit of a head scratcher. And listen, like I said, Brazeau could come in and be a elite talent in the bottom six, not a elite talent now, but a great talent to add. I don't know. Was this kind of a head scratcher for your side too?
Yeah, I don't know. I quite like Khusnutdinov. He's quite young. Jakub Lauko, he's an RFA after this year. This is his second year of his contract, year 2 of 2. He's 24 years old. I don't know. I was just surprised. I know Bill Guerin likes big players. It is what it is. This guy's 6'5". He brings an edge to that bottom six, but I do think there's a bit more to it, as well as just the other day. I mean, we saw Marat was sent down to the AHL, right? And Bill Guerin himself said, look, a lot of it's cap related. He makes about 900 whatever thousand, so we have to accumulate as much cap space as we can. To be honest with you, it stinks. It stinks for him because he's been here all year. He's played hard. He's played well. It's not your regular demotion. There's a lot more to it. And yeah, it sucks. Just for him to get shipped off a couple days later, look, I know the Wild's cap situation right now is tough. The deadline cap space, yes, it's $7.5 million, but a lot of that comes from the LTIR right now of Kirill, Kaprizov, and you have other guys who's Eriksson is injured as well. We're not sure exactly how long he'll be out, probably about 6 weeks more. So there's some question marks there. But like you said, when you're looking at this roster, first of all, they need players, and they want to keep players that can play fully in that lineup. And to have to send Marat down, yeah, that is tough. But I'm just not convinced that Justin Brazeau is going to add to this lineup what the Wild need. Now, I'm not saying he's bad, because again, has him listed at 6'6" here. He's 6'5" or 6'6", depending where you look. He's a heavy dude, and he's got 10 goals this year. Look, Mark, I know this Minnesota Wild team has a lot of skill there in that top six, right? I mean, with Kaprizov back, ideally. We know Nyquist is playing in their next game with Hartman and Boldy, and it's Foligno, Rossi, and Estroza. There is some physicality here. Maybe some true big size there in that bottom six is something the team is lacking a little bit, but I don't know if, him for Marat and Lauko, two guys who are much younger, who have pretty much as much NHL experience, is the right play. I don't know. Is there something I'm missing here? Do you think this is purely a move to open a spot, maybe save a bit of money as we head towards the deadline?
I mean, the biggest thing is, listen, with the money, you're not saving a whole lot, if any, at this point, since you had Marat down in the AHL. But looking at Brazeau, I think the biggest thing is, listen, he has about 90 hits, I think it was when I was looking on the season. When you're in the playoffs, the biggest thing is a grueling game. You're going to go in, you're going to be hit, you're going to have fights. I think adding more size is something that this team really wants to do. I mean, this is the only reason why they probably did this
Mhm.
trade, but you also have the chance of a scoring output. 10 goals. I know a lot of Bruins fans said a lot of them might have been tips or just mucking it in front of the net, but still having a big body in the front of the net is going to add some aspects to the Wild's game, especially with their top end being a little smaller. I don't know, Josh. I feel like moving out of contract would make it easier for them to acquire another player and add them without trading another player out. So maybe this is opening up room for them to go out and acquire another player before the deadline tomorrow. That could fill out maybe the middle six on this team.
I mean, it's possible, but like, there's gonna have to be some cap shenanigans too with all the injuries right now, and it's looking like Kaprizov and Eriksson. Like, I don't think Eriksson will be out till playoffs. I don't think Kaprizov, but like, you never really know. I don't know. Look, maybe Brazeau will turn it up right now in Minnesota. Hey, he scored 61 goals for the North Bay Battalion in his age 21 OHL season. That's, nothing to scoff at, I suppose. Like, I don't know. Just one of these guys that I'd love to see do great, and I'm really wishing the best for him, Mark. But it's not just this season. This will be the last thing we talk about here. There's implications going forward as well, because like I mentioned, Lauko's an RFA. Marat, still young as well. You had control over him. You're trading for a guy in Brazeau who is in year 2 of his contract, $775,000 cap. He's been playing in the NHL, but he's an unrestricted free agent this offseason. And you have to wonder what kind of deal he's going to get. I know the cap is rising, and is rising by quite a lot over the next couple of years, but Bill Guerin has not been afraid to dish out some pretty significant money to bottom six style players who are physical. I mean, look, we saw that deal he gave to Foligno, and I know there's more to it than just that for Foligno, rewarding the vet, the guy who's been around for so long, this kind of stuff. But like Trennan as well, more of a defensive guy, 3.5 mil. Some of those numbers were a bit shocking when Wild fans first saw it. My one concern now is like, do you pay Brazeau enough to stay? And what is that number? Like, for me, I'm not going much over 2 mil at all if I'm signing him for like a couple of years, and I wouldn't want to sign him more than 2 or 3 years. That's my next question. Like, do you think Minnesota will end up paying him maybe more than his market value because he maybe fits that style that Guerin likes? That's my only concern here. Well, my main one.
I think the biggest thing is looking at it. Yes, over 2 million, I think would be kind of an overpayment. Someone that scored what is a career high of 10 goals
Yeah.
this season. Maybe if you can get him on maybe a 2 year deal, 1.5 million per year, that would fit a little better because it would be more of, hey, you're 27, let's get you a 2 year deal. You'll be almost 30 by the time this comes in. If you start to blossom, yes, you can sign that next contract, but it adds a bit of security to a guy that was an undrafted player coming into the Bruins system. So I don't know. It's really weird, Josh. I could see this maybe be in the sense of, hey, we have a contract locked up in Marat. We have someone in Lauko that's going to be a free agent. Why not pick up a free agent, get rid of 2 contracts, and maybe this opens up more room to sign some of the rookies, their top prospects coming through the system, or even go out and be buyers in this next year's free agency.
Hey, who knows? There's lots of questions here, and I'm sure we'll get answers over the like coming day, or even I guess like what 12, 15 hours, whatever it is. But also coming into this playoff push this offseason, it's a bit of a surprising move. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below. Maybe you're way higher on someone like Brazeau than we are, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see an answer. Maybe we'll see it pay dividends. But hey, we'll just have to wait and see. That'll do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, just double check. It's completely free as well. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Mark Pye. We'll catch you in the next one.